Joanne Bernard made some history in 2013 when she became the first openly gay person to be elected to the Nova Scotia legislature. She has since become one of the most prominent members of Stephen McNeil's cabinet as Minister of Community Services. It is one of the biggest jobs in government. But Joanne Bernard says her close to 2 years in government have been marred by discrimination in the form of hate speech, homophobic attacks in social media, often using derogatory, even filthy language, one as recently as just a couple of weeks ago. The minister says she is willing to endure criticism for her political decisions, but not for her choice of life partner. And Joanne Bernard is with us here tonight. It's good of you to come.
Thank you.
What sort of things have you been experiencing in your day-to-day life as a cabinet minister?
Well, before we start, I'd just like to frame this, that what I have experienced over the 2 years is in no way, shape, or form what young people and people all around the world are experiences in terms of violence and death due to their sexual orientation. But I tell you, when I decided to run for politics, it was a question that I asked my partner and my son. And it was completely focused on the fact that we were a non-traditional family in the sense of community. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with my abilities. It had nothing to do with the fact that I was a woman. It had everything to do that I was a lesbian. And so, you know, I have full support from both those two important people in my life. Mm-hmm. And it certainly wasn't something that I was prepared for. I'm prepared, I'm open game as a minister to be criticized for the policy decisions that I make. I understand that. I accept that. Even I thought there would be more pot shots towards my gender, but we have 15 women now in caucus, and very supportive. All parties are very supportive of the women in their parties, but being gay has been, quite frankly, the lightning rod.
For emails and letters?
It started in the campaign when I received a handwritten letter, but it has since escalated to phone calls to both my constituency office, social media. Somebody uploaded something to their Facebook, which was on YouTube, and phone calls to caucus office.
Are these just random homophobic cruelties that people feel they have the right to throw at you because you're a gay woman?
I think so. Some of it, they frame it around religion, or they frame it that they're praying for me and that I'm a sinner. Mm-hmm. Others, it's more vile, more vicious.
Yeah. When people make the decision to get into politics, you know, the candidate, of course.
Yes.
Can expect a certain amount of grief, but I often hear politicians speaking of what their families go through.
Oh, yes.
How does your family deal with this?
Well, I have a wonderfully private and supportive partner who gets angry, who worries about me. I have a son who has taken himself off of social media because he cannot stand to see the vileness that's directed at his mother. He's very protective of me. It really, I think, has strengthened the relationship that I have with my partner. And she is my anchor. She is there for me when I come home and have had a tough day dealing with hate.
Is this a crime? I know in one case there was a YouTube video that the RCMP were involved in. There was no action taken, though?
There was no action because it wasn't hate speech. It was explained to me going up to the line, but not crossing over it.
Are you clear on what that is? Where the line is?
Well, I'm learning more and more what that line is, and I'm also learning that people are very knowledgeable on what that line is, and they know not to go over it, because I will not hesitate to prosecute anyone who comes at me for threats or hate crime.
What are your options when it comes to dealing with the authors of these kind of communications, short of prosecution? I mean, is there anything you can do?
Well, it depends. I may withdraw my services if it's a constituent, because I need to feel safe in my office. My staff that I'm responsible for need to feel safe.
Have you ever felt threatened by anything that you say?
Yes, I get threatened routinely. I've had security, like other cabinet members and certainly the premier.
But threatened because you're a gay woman, not because you're a
threatened because of my portfolio and things that have happened with that. No, the threats are more personal in nature when they come directed to my sexual orientation. And I would be really remiss, Steve, if I didn't say at the very beginning you said choice of sexual orientation and
no, I said your choice of partner.
Yeah, choice of partner is fine, but no, people don't choose this.
As a gay person and as a leader of government, what do you see as the next steps to try to deal with what is clearly still a reality.
It is
in
still a
society.
reality, and it's a reality for, you know, a lot of kids in this province. It's a reality, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a cabinet minister or a kid growing up in a family that's thrown you out on the street because you've come out. You know, in government over the last couple of years, like last week is a perfect example of the foster care program that we launched directly aimed at same-sex partners so that we could bring, you know, invite them into the fold of fostering. There's the Raise the Bar campaign within government that talks about diversity and inclusion and making sure that people from all different experiences and areas of our community are included in the public service. There's legislation that we can do that we've recently done in the last session dealing with transgender
But as we
rights.
said here last week with Stuart Mill, changing laws is easier than changing attitudes.
You can't legislate common sense or kindness. It's as simple as that. You know, as my hope is that things change as kids grow up and we talk about it more. For instance, I have a 25-year-old son. He's a welder. He works in a very male-dominated field. And I texted him today and I said, you know, Taylor, just to give you a heads up, I'm on the news tonight. And he said, I'm proud of you. I love you. You'll be great. And that's what I want to hear.
It's good of you to come. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nova Scotia's Minister of Community Services, the Honourable Joanne Bernard, joining us here tonight.